Hello, I'm Clive Wouters and welcome to the Cranleigh Arts Online. And I'm with Ariel Lanyi, and it's before the concert, and we're just going to have a brief chat a little bit about the man behind the music in his concert tonight. So Ariel, I've said, I think, that you always wanted to have a career in music, and you've made an impressive impact in quite a short time. My background is not in music, and actors have agents, pop musicians have promoters. How does it work in the classical world for a performer to create a career for themselves as you have?
Well, we also have agents, and I am very lucky to be working with YCAT, which is a fantastic management agency for young musicians. They represent me in this country for general management, and I'm working with their partners in the US Concert Artists Guild, who represent me in North America. So it works. It just works not unlike other performing arts, where you have a manager who looks after your development and contacts people on your behalf.
And you've had quite a range of teachers and master classes. Do those contribute to somehow raising your status or your game in that way?
Well, they contribute greatly in the artistic way. One doesn't go to master classes and these places just to make a career, whatever that means. The master classes I've participated in greatly contributed to my musical development and have greatly enriched my perspective on things.
And I think you said in 2017 that I don't do competitions where the mood is judgmental and potentially negative. But you've just achieved considerable success, third place in the Leeds music competition. What's changed your mind?
Well, I guess I should have watched my mouth back then. Well, that's a complicated question. I don't feel I can really talk against competitions right now. I know I was very dogmatic about it back in the day. I think I'm not sure that my perspective has changed so much, even though I wouldn't word it so harshly nowadays. But yes, competitions are very stressful, no matter how friendly they can be. And the Leeds competition was really as friendly and as collegial as a competition can be. But nonetheless, it's a stressful business. I think it took me some time personally to get into the state of mind whereby I can participate in them, but do so in a way that is not harmful to myself. So I really went into these competitions thinking that my main goal was to play in a way that I am, as much as I can be, satisfied with, and in a way that I deem to be representative of who I am as an artist. And that is my job, and then whatever the jury decides, the jury decides. Mm-hmm. And it does help with exposure because many promoters and other influential people watch these competitions, so it's a way to get your name out. And last but not least, one of the things that really came to mind as I was doing these competitions is that it really put into perspective giving concerts, because much as we get stressed before going on stage to play a concert, the atmosphere of a concert is so positive, so forthcoming, so collegial. Everybody wants you to succeed. Yeah. And doing competitions makes you realize how irrational these thoughts are. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm not nervous at all playing concerts. That is not true. Of course, we all get that. It's just human. But I feel that I can put these things into perspective a lot better now.
Yeah.
And I don't owe it just to competitions, but that was just one part of this equation.
And presumably the repertoire is a challenging repertoire that they expect you to prepare for these competitions, and that is another way of pushing yourself
yes,
a little bit further.
There is quite a lot of repertoire you must prepare in order to play in a very short period of time. Mm-hmm. And yes, that definitely was an experience that helped me later on.
You mentioned there your sort of state of mind, and I think when practicing you suggested that you experiment a lot in order to give yourself the freedom to be spontaneous in performance. What's the balance then between having an interpretation of a work that you've explored and discovered, and that discovering it anew on the night of performance?
It's a fine balance, but I think that these great works give us so much opportunity to explore different ways of playing them. And when I practice, I try to find out what I truly believe in by trying many different things. Mm-hmm. And when I perform, I also do that. And if I don't like something, I know that I probably won't do it the next time I play, or at least I try to. But really, when I practice, I try to get to know the piece as well as I can, and give myself a wide range of options. Mm-hmm. And then on the night, I have a wide palette available. Ideally, that's what I strive to do, at least.
And you've also said that you had the advice from one teacher: think more, practice less.
Yes, that was from the great, sadly departed Leon Fleischer.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That really says it all, doesn't it?
Well, what does that mean exactly?
It means that it's really about priorities. So before you put in the mechanical hours into the instrument, you must know what you're trying to achieve, what you're trying to express, and that is work that is mental and emotional, mm-hmm. and that has to come first. And when you know what you want to express, what you want to achieve, then you start putting in the physical hours. And of course, 1 hour of good practice is worth many times more than 10 hours of bad practice. And that's really what it means. Yeah.
So get the mind in gear first, and then get the muscle memory echoing that in a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah. Now your program tonight has the big challenge of Beethoven's Hammerklavier Sonata 29, one of his most demanding works, I suppose. Now, you've said, I think, Beethoven was a great influence on you, and you put him high in the pantheon, and that you value him for his sense of humour.
Yes, yes.
Now, imagine somebody coming to the concert who's never heard it before. What will they find in your version of it tonight, do you think?
Oh, well,
Would you hope?
I guess you better ask them. I would hope that they could walk away with a feeling of regeneration, because it is such an ebullient work. There's so much mirth and triumph in it, perhaps more than in almost any other piano sonata of his, at least in such bold in such a bold manner. And that really, I think, is the crux of the matter. He manages to emerge from the depth of tragedy in the slow movement to the heights of triumph in the last movement. And it is really a sonata written in caps lock and bold letters. That's what I try to achieve. Whether I can or I cannot remains to be seen, but that's at least what I hope that I can.
Yes, yes. Well, whether there will be any person who's never heard it before, I don't know. I know that was advice, wasn't it, given to think of that person who has never encountered the work before. What about the other two pieces that in your programme tonight? Anything we should be looking out for in those?
Oh, those are true masterpieces, both the Mozart and the Brahms. I mean, and both somewhat overlooked, I find, because the Mozart, the Mozart Sonata is a rather early work he wrote. It's part of the batch of first 6 sonatas, and it is not as ambitious as some of the other early ones he wrote, but its sense of being concise and compact is elegant and graceful in itself, and that's why I love it. And the Brahms, the Brahms Opus 76 is really a transitional work. So it is the first cycle of Klavierstücke, piano pieces that he wrote, and all of his piano works from then on would be sets of short pieces. And it is a very introspective work, I find. And he wrote it while studying Chopin and Schumann. And we really hear both Chopin and Schumann in this work. So one must try to embody 3 composers rather than one, which makes it quite a challenging piece. But they really are 8 gems, every single one of them, and they're so lyrical and intricate that I find I rediscover the piece every time I play it on stage.
Well, those at home will be able to judge whether that was the case. 3 composers for one, what could be better than that? And now it's time for you to get ready, and for those of us at home watching to enjoy the second half of this concert. Thank you for joining us. See you again.